If there was ever a time to use important last chance, critical warning, urgent act now clickbait YouTube titles, today would be the day. Bitcoin has done something that it hasn't done in over 41 days, which leads to further continuation of the bullish momentum, plus looking set to head towards our 2 price targets and cross our major 50% level for the bullish continuation. That's what we'll look at in today's video, along with touching on the Christmas rally and Metaverse cryptocurrencies in a way to act now before the trend continues. Okay, we're going to look at the history of this as well, as we've seen it recently in the last 6 months. Make sure you've smashed the like button, subscribe to the channel, bell notification icon. Check out the links in the top of the description. The free newsletter is coming out tomorrow. Jump on board with that. And also the links that I'll cover in today's video, along with Bybit, $4,000 giveaway, and Swyftx down below. All right, let's crack on with the video. Now, got to take a little step back in time. The last few weeks we've been covering on the channel, looking at these cryptos getting crushed. People aren't liking the sound of that. Is now the time to buy? Looking at the fear and greed index, which we can see has been trending higher, or at least getting higher lows ever since that crash on the 4th of December. So that's been a bullish sign, to say the least. We also saw some extreme fear come into the markets as Bitcoin put in a higher low. So through this period of 10th to the 17th, as all these little lows were coming in, sure, these are lower lows compared to each other, but compared to the crash day, they're all higher lows. So the extreme fear was coming in through these days, and it was similar to the same fear that happened on the crash bar. So when you marry these two together, you get a bullish divergence. So we're looking at higher lows on the price, but similar lows when it comes to the market sentiment. So that's telling us something, that there is some money buying in at this level. Does that mean that we're over? Of course not. Of course it doesn't. We still have 2 more targets to hit. We have the 50% level to cover at 49,000, and that brings me to our first target, and that is 49,000. So maybe by the time you're watching this, we've crossed 49. The next level is 54. It's the top of the crash bar. So we need to switch plays in terms of the momentum of the market. All right, so this is the bearish momentum, and we want to get above that price to get us back into some more bullish momentum. So even if we cross above here, I'm sure you'll start seeing calls to say that the bull market's back on, nothing to worry about. Everyone starts to jump in, and they start to buy their cryptos probably 10 or 20% above the current prices as they are now, because as the herd does, they wait until they feel safe and that their shepherd is leading them towards the light. That tends to be what happens when it comes to these markets. But you got to get in early, like a wolf, a shark, whatever it may be. You've got to get in early to these plays. But you have to note that this could go further down, and you have to suck up the fear that comes into the market. Look back just around 6 months ago through May and June. So we had this a similar sort of period here where the market fell, it bounced away, tried again, and continued to fall. This period here, if you go back and look at any YouTube videos from around the 11th through to those last couple of days of the 17th, you'll note that the greed really kicked up a notch very, very quickly as these levels broke the highs. It never got back above the 19th of May, and that high was at 43,591. So call it around 43,600 or 44,000. The market could not get back above that level. But as soon as this happened, everyone was extremely bullish again. They got smacked down, and they had to wait it out for another 6 or so weeks until the market could recover and then bounce away. Generally what happens in that time is that people get sad that their money is going down, their paper losses are still at hand, and they sell out of the market because they cannot stomach watching their portfolios when the market is going down. It's got to turn these things off sometimes. And so I think something like this may happen again. It tends to happen time and time again, just to sucker people in, crush them, crush their souls again, and then the market takes off. If you don't like the sound of that, maybe investing or trading in crypto, no matter who you watch on YouTube or follow on Twitter, maybe it's not for you. You have to get used to that when it comes to the emotions. And I'm sure I'm only talking to a few people when it comes to that. Okay, so if that does happen again and we start to see the market climb and we reach above these little levels here and then sink back down, probably we'll start to retest some of those low prices again. So beware for that. Also, the Christmas rally, maybe we've started that already. It could be possible that we've started our Christmas rally. Looking back at the 17th, we're currently up about 7%. And I'm choosing the 17th because at the moment, that is the low before the market started to move away. So we had a low at 45,500 and then again at 45,568. So it's a slightly higher low here on the 20th. So if we measure back in history, you don't know until after the fact, but you could probably say that some of these lows through this period at around the 11th of December, probably the area before the start of the Christmas rally. Now, I don't think we're going to get another 140% from our current levels, especially with the market sentiment not being as bullish as it was in 2020 leading into 2021. Maybe we'll see something more like this that happened in 2019, maybe half of this amount, going around that 20 or 30% from that low. But even at that, it's going to put us pretty far up in the price scale, going from around 45,000. 30% is going to lead us to around 60 grand. So I'm probably looking at the lower side than the upper side when it comes to this. Going back even further, 35% on one of these little Christmas rallies here. If you wanted to call it a Christmas rally, the bull market top came in around the Christmas rally and then crashed into the 22nd. And then we had another 58% or so from that crash low to this next little high. Going back again in history, got another 50 odd percent, 48%, but this market is heading up. So if I'm going to be conservative, take the lower side of all of these, that I'm looking at around 20, maybe 30% from these levels. And of course, we'll just continue to watch how the market responds as it makes its way up past the price resistance levels. So if we get our measuring tool from the low here of the 17th and then measure up about 20%, that puts us just above the bar of the 4th. So 20% comes out at about 55,000. And if we went 30%, then we're sitting somewhere around 59,000. So I think we might be asking a little much there. Stranger things have happened, but 20 to 30%, then we'll look for some sort of reaction. Maybe we only get just above these levels of around that 52,000. So drawing up to around 52 is 14%. So lower side, 15, 20% or so if we get there. So 49 is the first number, 54 is the next number. Let's take a look at Ethereum, what's going on here. Same thing as yesterday. We're starting to get this little move up. Bitcoin's found some strength. We're above our stronger levels. So if we're looking at stronger horses, this is going to be the play of the stronger horse because it hasn't come back down to its bull range 50% level of 3,200. It's managed to hold above that 50% and it's heading back towards 41,000 as well. So if Ethereum can close above 41.69, going to look much stronger than where it currently is if it continues to trade in this range, but it's still above the major 50%. So that's looking pretty good. On to today's sponsor. Thanks to our sponsor today, Rubic. It's a multi-chain swap protocol, and this is really handy to use when we are swapping between any of these blockchains. So currently we've got to use things like MetaMask, load this up, change between our cryptocurrencies, then go over to something like Solana if we want to buy something on the Solana ecosystem, load this thing up, transfer the USD from one to the other. Whereas on Rubic, we have the option to swap between Ethereum to Solana, to back to Avalanche, to Harmony One, Moonriver, Phantom, Binance, Polygon, all from this one platform. And they are a doxed team, so you can get in contact with them. I'll leave a link to this stuff in the description down below. Now, the big news for Rubic is that they are finally launching their staking, which is around 80% APY. So it's first come, first served principle. 1,000 RBC will get you onto the platform. They're currently around 20 to 25 cents with a market cap of 25 million, fully diluted 28 million, which is really nice to see that the majority of the tokens are out there. The project has been around quite some time, since 2020 on CoinMarketCap, and we've seen a few booms and busts with higher lows forming as well. So the function of this seems to be something that the market is absolutely craving, especially trying to get between different blockchains cheaply and very quickly. If you want to learn more about Rubic and how to become a liquidity provider and stake your RBC for 80% APY, I'll leave a link in the top of the description down below where you can learn more about this, plus everything else that you can swap on their multi-chain DEX. Onto one of the stronger cryptos. Now, it's no surprise to you, so I won't spend a lot of time on this. This is MATIC, and MATIC has been trending up from the lows again on the 14th of December, broken its 50% level, 225 at the moment. Should we trend around here and start to go sideways, it's strong anyway. Just as a roadmap from this point, if we can't continue to break to new higher prices, even a sideways above the 50% level is very solid for this cryptocurrency. As you can see from ETH, it's below its 50% level of the decline here, and Bitcoin is also below its major 50% level at the moment. So it needs to get above that. So MATIC is the stronger cryptocurrency out of these three. That's where I'd be sitting with that. In terms of the metaverse cryptocurrencies, GHST, this is looking pretty good as well. Just under the 50% level, needs to get above $2.42. It's had some land auctions which have now completed. I think they have more coming up in the future. Using our tool here, maybe you can see this as well. You can see a little bit of a U-shaped bottom here. You start to see it again here, and again here through October, and again here before we went to our previous all-time high in November. It does look like we're starting to set up with one of those again. I know this is not super technical, but it's something to keep an eye on because the market tends to fade. People sell off as the auctions end. Keep an eye on the price, set the alerts, and then we start to look to higher prices again. Now, if this doesn't happen, we can see the underside areas. Our 50% are at $1.90. Probably going to look towards the $2 psychological level as well. You have a swing bottom here at $2.10. So there's a fair few price support levels before we start to trend back down to the $1.50 level. Remember, these are much more volatile than the majors, so you have to expect bigger drawdowns. So from our current price to any of these price resistance, price support areas, 10%, to our 50% level is around 20%, to the next lows here, 34%, and then if you come all the way back to these levels, you could go all the way as far as around 60%. The upside, of course, is anyone's guess, but we tend to hope and dream when it comes to the metaverse cryptocurrencies, and this is holding up considerably well compared to a lot of the market as the market was tanking. You can still see that there are pretty clear higher lows and higher highs in this trend. So definitely keeping my eye on GHST, as well as letting you know that it is part of my portfolio, which you can find a link to my trading portfolio, my altcoin portfolio, in the top of the description. That's with the Patreon and premium members. Join us over there. There's a free newsletter as well coming out tomorrow. Check that link out. And I've also got a special just for everyone on this channel, $4,000 from Bybit. Use the link in the top of the description. Make sure you transfer at least $1 to the exchange, and you can go in the draw to win one of 4 $1,000 worth of ETH to your address. So just to recap on those targets, 49,000 is the first level for Bitcoin, 54,000 is the next level, and if we can consolidate above the 50%, this is looking like some really good early signs of the market to continue on, which means we can start to look towards our plans and look for strong horses which have similar setups to cryptos like, but not a buy recommendation at all. Look for similar setups to stuff like MATIC, where we're above our 50% levels of the minor ranges, the major ranges, and the all-time ranges as well. Same deal, as you can see here, goes for Ghost. It is lower on this 50% range, but above the major 50% range as well. These things aren't going to pop off tomorrow. I don't think we need to be last chance warnings on them, but keep them on the watch list, because when they start to pop, you can see that they tend to pop pretty well. That's what I'm looking for cryptos to pump, and how I'm finding the stronger horses when the market is down. Of course, it's no fun to be buying cryptos when the market is down, but the fun comes if you are patient and you wait for these things to get to those pump levels. Should we see a continuation of the bull market? Make sure you smash the like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Use the links in the description. Don't get scammed out there, and I'll see you at the next video. Till then, have more fun to get more done.